If you are good at what you do and you know it, but you are struggling with how to be purposeful in your progress towards profitability and prosperity, then the Purposefully Profitable Podcast is for you. On this podcast, we talk about topics that will appeal to the business owner from the ages of 5 to 75. Whether you are male or female, living in the city or the country, whether you are an introvert or extrovert, entrepreneur or executive. The perfect person for this podcast dreams big, craves autonomy, is self-motivated, meaning-driven, and mission-oriented. He or she is creative with either art, science, or something in between, and is determined to succeed. This podcast is for the person that forces fear to fail by facing forward toward financial freedom. Whether your small business is new or existing, micro, meso, macro, or mega, stalled, stagnant, just surviving, or even thriving, there will be something for you. Subscribe now so that you will not miss a single episode. It's Money Math Monday on the Purposefully Profitable Podcast, and I'm your host, the Profitability Professor, Russ Barnes, CEO and founder of Systro, organization strategist for small business, where we have a single focus, providing the principles that enable you to achieve profitability with your company and prosperity for your life. Money Math Monday is when we talk about money mindset models and financial freedom formulas. The next few sessions will focus on the personal development you need to prepare for profitability. On the Purposefully Profitable Podcast, we get right to the point. Today's money mindset model is your personal value determines your financial future. The associated financial freedom formula is your skills, talents, abilities, knowledge, and experience equals your value. If you don't know your value, then you won't know how to set prices for the pain relief that you provide. You won't be able to decide when to do work yourself and when to hire someone else to do it. And when you don't know your value, any thought of profitability is a mere pipe dream. In this episode, since your personal value determines your financial future, we begin by covering how to calculate your current personal value and your desired personal value. Then we describe how to raise your current personal value to your desired personal value. So let's get started. Step 1. You need to establish your current personal value in terms of an hourly representation. There are 2 approaches you can use: current income-based calculation or a current lifestyle-based calculation. With the current income-based approach, if you have a job, take your paycheck and convert it into an annual income. If you currently have your own business, use your sales figure to do this calculation. It's not perfect, but we don't need perfect right now. Divide that number by 8,760. The result will be a very rough annually based income per hour. You might find this number to be too discouraging to move forward. And if that's the case, then divide by 2,000 instead of 8,760, and you will get a result that you might find a little more acceptable. At this point, you may be asking, what are these numbers? Why is there such a big difference between the 2? And why should I use one over the other? Let me explain. 8,760 is the result of multiplying 24 hours a day by 365 days in a year. If you're skeptical, pull out your calculator and do the math. Unless, of course, you're driving, then you need to pull over. I'll wait. As an entrepreneur, you have learned how to burn money while you sleep. On the Purposefully Profitable Podcast, we will turn your concern to your opportunity and obligation to earn money while you sleep. So 8,760 hours of earning opportunity per year will be your objective. Remember, this is Money Math Monday, and measurement is a motivator. 2,000 is the result of multiplying 40 hours per week times 50 weeks per year, given that you are allowed 2 weeks of vacation per year. Under the circumstances of trading hours for dollars, you will be limited by how many hours you can use to earn money. So you may as well be reasonable. When making these calculations, consider the fact that if you are on salary and receive a paycheck, whether you show up for work or not, you should actually calculate your hourly pay based on 8,760 hours. You're not being paid for your time. You're being paid for your ability to achieve an outcome, and you are expected to be available every hour of every day of every year, and to be working whether you are at your desk or not. You might only end up actually performing tasks for 80 to 90 hours of the 168 hours available in a week, but you're on the clock, even when you're sleeping. When life was most stressful for me in my job, I used to dream about work, but in a more nightmarish type of way. On the other hand, if you're required to clock in and clock out at your job, then you are being paid for your hours at work and not for what you actually do while you're there. And when you leave, you don't have to think about your work until you clock back in. If you are full-time, that means a traditional 40 hours in the United States. Any hours worked beyond 40 hours are paid at time and a half by law. An alternative to the income method of determining your personal value is the lifestyle approach. Review your current lifestyle and determine how much money you spend annually to sustain that lifestyle. Divide the number by the same number you use with the income calculation, 8,760 or 2,000, to determine your current personal value. The result will be an hourly representation of how much money you currently spend to sustain your current lifestyle. Whether money is earned or borrowed, you've decided to do what it takes to live the way you live now, and it's actually a better representation of how you value yourself and how you want others to value you. It should not be a surprise to see by the comparison between your actual income and your lifestyle-driven expenditures, whether you are moving ahead financially or falling behind. Yes, it's easy to just look at your income versus your consumption and come to the same conclusion, but bear with me for a moment. The hourly figure based on 8,760 hours per year plays an important role in how you will progress. Step 2. Now decide on your desired income or determine what it would cost to pay for your desired lifestyle. Don't be shy. This will be your financial goal. Once you have those numbers, use 8,760 or 2,000 to repeat the calculations you performed on your current income or current lifestyle. This will give you your desired personal value in an hourly form. Of course, if you plan to be compensated in your business based on your skill, talent, ability, knowledge, and experience, then it makes sense to use 8,760 hours to determine your personal value, because that's what it would take to get there. If you plan to be compensated based on the amount of hours you work, then feel free to use 2,000 hours to determine your personal value. Here is where the men are separated from the boys and the women from the girls. If you plan to be an entrepreneur and you chose 2,000 hours, then you are going to be disappointed when you realize that entrepreneurs work around the clock and typically earn less than they earned when they had a job. Although JOB may stand for just over broke, being an entrepreneur carries no guarantees that you will ever receive compensation for your work. But you cannot allow that thought to stop you. On future episodes of the Purposefully Profitable Podcast, you will hear about how to avoid letting the way you feel determine how you act. Getting back, my recommendation is to use the lifestyle approach based on 8,760 hours. Just the process of thinking about your desired lifestyle and calculating the cost will give you a better representation of the money you would like to make and a truer basis for how you value yourself. It's easy to say, oh yeah, I want a 6 or 7 figure income or a 10-figure net worth, but without basis, it's just an unsubstantiated number. And how will you really know when enough is enough? Step 3, compare current personal value with your desired personal value and decide whether you want to raise your personal value or lower your life expectations. If you're listening to this particular podcast, then I think I can safely assume that you've already decided you want to raise your personal value rather than lower your expectations. Now you can begin to evaluate what has to happen to get from your current personal value to your desired personal value. Let's assume that you are currently earning $10 an hour and work 40 hours per week with 2 weeks of vacation. Your annual income comes to $20,000 per year. $20,000 divided by 8,760 hours is $2.28 per hour. Let's choose to set your desired income at $100,000 per year. $100,000 divided by 8,760 hours is $11.40 per hour. With these numbers, you can begin to think of ways to move from $2.28 per hour to $11.40 per hour. It's a lot easier to consider creative ways to get from $2.28 to $11.40 than it is to imagine getting from $10 per hour to $50 per hour. Perhaps you can write a book that sells for $12. If you sell 24 books per day on average, or 720 books per month, you can meet your goal. It's true that these are just numbers, but knowing your numbers can ignite your creativity to meet and exceed those numbers, especially if you're achievement oriented. Without this type of target, your efforts at earning are based on hopes and prayers. Remember, this is Money Math Monday, and measurement is a motivator. Step 4, determine how long it will take to achieve your goals. If you are only selling 360 books per month at $12 per book, you know your income from the book will only be $50,000. Therefore, you either have to find something else to sell to supplement the income, a multiple streams of income strategy, or you need to change the way you are selling the book. Knowing your numbers enables you to take appropriate action. You can ask and answer questions like, what pain relief can you provide for which people will pay your desired rate? Can you provide that relief in a way that will enable you to earn money while you sleep? Will the value you provide enable you to charge enough so that your income, calculated over 8,760 hours, will exceed $11.40 per hour? If your skill requires you to trade time for money, what could you do to earn $50 per hour over a 40-hour work week? Suppose your desired income figure is $500,000. What can you do to earn $250 per hour over a 40-hour work week? Asking these questions will help you become more purposeful in the development of your program. Step 5, compute the cost of going from your current personal value to your desired personal value. Will you need to get a trade certification or a degree? What will it cost to get the degree or certification? How long will it take to complete the course? How long will it take to begin earning the hourly rate you need to achieve your goal? You can find the answers to these questions through basic research. These questions will also lead to fruitful conversations at networking events, which is a topic for a future Purposefully Profitable podcast. Step 6, manage your resources in terms of time and money. With your desired personal value number in mind, you can decide on what things you should do yourself and what things you should pay someone else to do. You will eventually find that it is more important to value your time over your money. If it would cost you $20 an hour to have someone cut your lawn, but you could earn $50 an hour in that same time period, how much is it costing you to cut your own lawn? Pay someone to do it and concentrate on doing what you do to make money. If you think that you can do what they do better than they can, then perhaps that's the business you should be in. Otherwise, by paying someone else to do what they do all day, you will receive a better outcome in terms of time and quality, and you will be seeding the economy by helping someone else earn money in their business. We will come back to this idea in later episodes of the Purposefully Profitable Podcast and describe the concept in greater detail. But for the moment, please accept the comment in its most basic form. Step 7, take action. Always take action. First, we focus on the fundamentals. Get to know yourself very, very, very well. 1, take assessments, personality, career, aptitude. I am an assessment junkie. 2, find your talent by volunteering to do more of what you do most and observing how it helps others. Eventually, you can determine what people might pay you for doing what you do best. 3, think about what inspired you as a child, what classes you liked best in school, and what activities you enjoyed best outside of school. 4, pay attention to what you do now when given the choice to do whatever you want to do with your time. Is there a marketable skill in there somewhere? Too often, we underestimate our personal value. We believe that what is easy for us to do is easy for everyone. But you possess unique skills, talents, abilities, knowledge, and experiences that represent capability you can use to relieve someone's pain. So here are the steps in summary. 1, determine your value and how much you are worth per hour. 2, determine a lifestyle you desire and how much it will cost to live it. 3, decide on what you need to do to raise your value if it's too low to enable you to earn enough money to live the lifestyle of your choice. 4, assess how long it will take you to raise your value. 5, research how much it will cost to raise your value. 6, make a plan to manage your resources. 7, take action. Always take action. This has been Money Math Monday with your host, the Profitability Professor, Russ Barnes. Tune in tomorrow on Tips and Techniques Tuesday, where we offer actionable ideas that you can use to make more rapid progress towards profitability. If you have questions, please send them to russ@systro.org and include your feedback. We would love to hear it in order to help us improve the product we provide for you. Subscribe to the Purposefully Profitable Podcast today so that you will not miss a single episode. And thank you for listening.